What's up, Honors World Literature? It's me, Coach Hall. It is April 21st. Who knows what day this is in quarantine? I have here my handy box of Frozen 2 mac and cheese. And no, don't worry, this isn't a review. Basically, what I want to do today is I want to talk to you about Chapter 35. And I want to pause the video so I can throw this mac and cheese in for my two kids, and they're gonna be out of the unknown and into some mac and cheese here pretty soon. How about that? So if you notice that there's a pause in the middle of this video, that's why, but I'll probably tell you. Pause it. Throw the mac and cheese in. Because the pot is over there boiling, or getting ready to boil right now. Anyway, chapter 35 is one of the more beautiful chapters in the book. I love chapter 35. The problem with chapter 35 is, or the problem with this book really is that anytime you, the author, Khaled Hosseini, right? Whenever he does a beautiful chapter like this, you almost feel like, what's going to happen now, you know? And we'll get to that in a second. Chapter 35, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. First of all, we get that the end of chapter 34 was really just the beginning of Mariam. As I said yesterday, it was really just the beginning of Mariam and Lila's friendship, almost familial, as in family kind of relationship that they have. They end up doing their nightly ritual after Rashid goes to bed. And Aziza is asleep, the baby. It's kind of just time for Lila and Mariam to kind of have their little time together, and they drink the 3 chai teas a night, and they talk and all this and that. We see time passing here a little bit. Aziza and is growing up. She's becoming like a little toddler. She's got her little teeth. And Mariam is just, this is what Mariam needed, man. This is what this goes back to. If you're wondering, does this have anything to do with the 7 miscarriages? Yes, it does have everything to do with the 7 miscarriages. This is all Mariam ever wanted in her life, was a little daughter. And she kind of gets that twice here. She gets the baby that is Aziza. Aziza, clearly the little baby daughter. Aziza is very close to Mariam. But then Lila starts referring to her as Kala Mariam. There she is, your aunt, Kala Mariam. And it says here that Aziza made Mariam want to weep. And I like this part of the chapter because she goes on to say, "Why have you pinned your little heart to an old, ugly hag like me?" Why have you pinned your heart to an old, ugly hag like me? And that is Mariam in the, sorry, Mrs. Hall going through the kitchen. I thought she was looking for the frozen mac and cheese. She's not. All right, so why have you pinned your little heart to an old, ugly hag like me? Mariam, man, that is how she got through these 2 decades with Rashid. Enduring. She's just endured. She doesn't care what she looks like. She doesn't care. There's no makeup, obviously. There's no happiness. It's just about, I'm going to live, and then I'm going to endure for a long time, and then I'm going to die. Just awful existence. And so now Mariam has kind of given herself permission to be happy. She loves this. She loves this baby. And ipso facto, it ends up turning out that she loves Lila in a similar way. That's why I said she kind of wins twice. She kind of gets the baby, and she almost kind of, like we said yesterday, the Lila daughter thing is working out for her as well. She has like a baby daughter and then like this other older child daughter, this teenage Lila. January 94 is where we are. So that puts 35, Mariam, 35. Not old, but she considers herself this old, ugly hag, she says. So the thing that Rashid had mentioned about the Mujahideen, let's see, Dostum switching sides to Gulbuddin Hekmatyar and took up position near Bala Akhisar, the old citadel walls under the city. All that means really is, short answer is, more violence. They're firing against the commander Masood and the Rabbani forces, more violence. So basically now at this point, you're just finding kids in the street and holding them at gunpoint and saying, you're joining up, you're a soldier now. And it's very, very dangerous. Rashid, of course, waving his gun around at home. So Mariam was relieved when the fighting subsided, mostly because they no longer had to be cooped up with Rashid. And sorry, no, okay, microwave worked out. Let's see. Yes, okay, so Lila and Mariam are spending time together here, and Lila's braiding her hair, and then out it came. Mariam, the first time in her entire life, told the truth about what happened with Jalil. She never told Rashid that story. It likely never came up. She never had any friends. So, man, it just comes out. Man, imagine that 35 years, really 20 years of your life you've been holding this in. Talks about Bibi Joe, Mullah Fazullah, Jalil's house, Nana's suicide, Jalil's wives, the marriage with Rashid. I mean, just goes into this whole thing. And Lila, you gotta imagine yourself. You're Lila here. You're this, 16-year-old kid hearing all this, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe all this. And then, of course, that's when Lila lets Mariam in on a little secret about them running away together, and that is what forms the basis of chapter 36. It's a beautiful chapter. I love the way 35 ends. The years had not been kind to Mariam. That's how it starts. But perhaps she thought there were kinder years waiting still. A new life. A life in which she would find the blessings that Nana had said a Harami like her would never see. And Mullah Fazullah mentions, it's almost as if he's mentioning Aziza and Lila as those two flowers. God has planted them, Mariam Joe, and it is His will that you tend to them. So now what this is, okay, the author is almost beating you over the head here with, this is going to give you, Mariam, this is going to give you purpose. You don't have to just endure and then die. Now you have a reason to exist. The reason to exist is Aziza and Lila. And that will come up again, I promise you. Fortunately, my beloved Mrs. Hall has thrown the frozen mac and cheese, frozen 2 mac and cheese in the pot, and now I have 11.5 minutes. I promise I won't take all that time, but this probably will be a long video because it's just a lot here. Okay, I'll give you the short version. All right, 36. Let's hit the high notes. All right. Rashid goes to work. Lila, Mariam, and Aziza go to the bus station. They're out of here. They're going to Pakistan. Here's the problem. Woman in your 30s, woman in your teens, little girl, baby, none of these are male, and they cannot travel by Muslim law. They cannot travel the 3 women together. They got the money, they got the bags, they just need a man to help out. Hey, help out us poor women. And help us out, us poor women. We just need a guy to pose as a male that will provide us tickets, so we can get tickets, so we can get on this bus, so we can get out of here. They're so close. They're so close. Well, despite how friendly he may have appeared, they have the the tickets. Anyway, they give the tickets to him so that he can get them onto the bus. He takes the tickets and turns them in, and they are arrested. They are pitted against each other. We get some rich Muslim law here, Afghani law. Aziza's crying. Lila and Mariam are being pitted against each other in interrogation. Long story short, Rashid ends up getting called and getting to pick them up, which is not good. It's like your parents busting you at a big party. Rashid finds out and not only does he find out, he goes and gets them. What follows is, in my opinion, one of the toughest parts of the book to read is in chapter 36. Again, I'm going to give you the highlights. They get home and starts with Lila didn't see the punch coming, 268. Rashid, who has generally reserved his beatings for Mariam, is now putting those on Lila as well. So he gets physical with Lila, throws her and Aziza in the room and closes the door and locks it and moves a heavy dresser in front of the door and basically barricades them in that room. Lila looks out the window and sees that Mariam is being beaten and thrown in a tool shed. The beating began, it says, the bottom of page 268. Thrown into a tool shed for Mariam, and Mariam is nailed, the nailing boards across the window and basically sealed in the tool shed. So as bad as it is for Lila, at least she's not stuck in a tool shed with no air conditioning. 3 days pass. Now here's the thing I wanted to point out, and I'll kind of close with this. What you have to understand here is over these 3 days that he locks them in there, so there's no food, no water. Aziza is a baby still, basically. They are weaker and they require water, they require food. They don't have the system, the muscles, the strength that we get when we are in our formative years, in our teenage years, and then as we grow, as our bodies grow. Babies don't have that ability. Generally, when you're in a situation like this, the first two types of people that die are the elderly and very, very young. Okay, so here's the thing. Rashid puts them in this situation knowing that there's a good chance, 3 days, no food or water, and just total darkness, there's a good chance that this baby is going to die. And here's the thing, the baby would die before Lila. So there's a chance that Lila would have had to sit there with her daughter and watch her die, and then she herself perish. After 3 days, the doors finally opened up. I think it may end up have gone into the fourth day. The door opens up, and Rashid, who very well could have killed them both. It looked bad for Aziza. She basically stops moving. And she says, "If you ever do this to me again, I will find you. I'm going to kill Mariam and then the baby and then you last, and I'm going to make you, Lila, I'm going to make you watch." One of the most horrific moments, one of the most horrific examples of Rashid's true evil nature here. We cannot defend that. We can defend some things about Rashid. We can, cultural, I think so. But man, you cannot defend that. If there was ever any doubt that Rashid is truly just an awful, 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 rotten human being, that was pretty much, there's many examples, but that was the biggest one. He was willing to let this child die and basically threatens Lila and saying, I'm going to make you watch if I have to do it again. I'm going to get rid of all three of you, and I'll make sure you go last. Spoiler alert for tomorrow's video, just really quickly, we look at page 37 and we know we jump ahead to September 1996. That's 2.5 years later. So basically they're this close. And man, after that kind of punishment, they don't try it again. Spoiler alert, they don't try it again. 2.5 years are going to pass. They have to go right back to the way life was. And any kind of trust that they could have possibly gotten from Rashid, now that's gone. So just tough to read. Anyway, sorry for the long video, but it was 2 big chapters. 5 minutes until the mac and cheese is ready. So, I might have a little bit myself frozen too. I'm not against eating tiny Olafs, right? Okay, so keep those questions coming in. Thank you guys for those of you that have stuck around. I'll talk to you for chapter 37 tomorrow. I'm also going to post chapters 38, 39, and 40 reading questions for tomorrow as well. So look for that tomorrow morning. Okay, probably the longest video yet. Oh well. You can always fast forward or rewind, right? So don't complain. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.